Howdy everyone. I hope everybody's doing good today. I am still having problems from my fall 3 days ago, I think it was. I may go to the emergency room today. I am hurting so bad, and I, I'm pretty sure I got a broken rib, at least one broken rib, and it's hurting to breathe, to inhale and exhale hurts very much, and I kind of need to be breathing, so I just hurt. I don't want a rib poking on my lung, and I don't know what's going on in there. I don't know why it hurts so bad. So I may go to the emergency room. I don't have a doctor now. My primary care doctor got fired, so I don't have a doctor right now. So I may go to the emergency room, or I may just tough it out another day or two. Oh, I just breathed and that hurt. Uh, I'm going to read to you today from the 7th chapter of Matthew, and there will be a little bit of commentary along with it. Matthew chapter 7, and every bit of this, every word I read, will be Jesus himself speaking, and this is part of his Sermon on the Mount. Judge not, that ye be not judged. And a lot of people only see the first two words, judge not. They don't read those two words in context. Jesus, a little bit further down in this chapter, teaches us how to judge, and we are commanded to judge others, but we have to be sure before we judge others there's no sin in our own life. And the reason he commands us to judge others is to point out the sin in their life so that they can be saved. Not for any other reason. That's the only reason Jesus, God, teaches us to and commands us to judge other people, so that they can recognize the sin in their life and be saved. And a good example of that was when King David had his sin of adultery with Bathsheba and murder of her husband pointed out to him. He didn't realize that he had sinned by murdering Bathsheba's husband, or having her husband murdered, and by committing adultery with her and getting her pregnant. Somebody pointed out his sin to him, and he broke down and repented. Anyway, I'll carry on now. So, yeah, we are commanded to judge. We just have to do it according to the Bible, strictly according to the Bible. Verse 2 of chapter 7, For with what judgment ye judge, ye shall be judged, and with what measure ye mete, it shall be measured to you again. And why beholdest thou the mote in thy brother's eye, but considerest not the beam that is in thine own eye? Or how wilt thou say to thy brother, Let me pull out the mote of thine eye, and behold, a beam is in thine own eye? Thou hypocrite, first, here's where Jesus teaches us. First cast out the beam of thine own eye, and there shalt thou see clearly to cast out the mote of thy brother's eye. Give not that which is holy unto the dogs, neither cast ye your pearls before swine, lest they trample them under their feet, and turn again and rend you. And that Jesus is teaching us to not give things that are holy to things that are unholy. And that analogy can be used in a wide area of things. In my life, God used it to point out when I became a Christian, my life, my heart, my soul became the temple of the Holy Spirit. That makes me holy. I was not to cast my holy body into bed with dogs and swine that were unholy. And there's many other analogies. That's one that I've seen referenced quite often, but it's not always the sin of the flesh. It's other sins also. But that kind of gives you an example of what that is. And verse 7, Ask, and it shall be given to you. Seek, and ye shall find. Knock, and it shall be opened unto you. For everyone that asketh receiveth, and he that seeketh findeth, and to him that knocketh it shall be opened. Or what man is there of you, whom if his son ask bread, will give him a stone? Or if he ask a fish, will give him a serpent? If ye then, being evil, know how to give good gifts unto your children, how much more shall your Father which is in heaven give good things to them that ask him? Therefore all things whatsoever ye would that men should do to you, do ye even so to them, for this is the law and the prophets. Enter ye in the strait gate, for wide is the gate, and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction, that's eternity in hell, and many there be which go in thereat. Because strait is the gate, and narrow is the way which leadeth unto life, and that's eternity in heaven, and few there be that find it. So it's saying many are going to go to hell down the broad highway, and few will find the narrow path that leads to heaven. I pray you're on that narrow path. I pray if you're not on that narrow path, you get on that narrow path. Verse 15, beware of false prophets, which come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are ravening wolves. And there are false prophets in just about every church in America. That, Satan is using the churches to deceive the people. People think they're going to church and learning about the Bible and being holy and being pleasing to God. Most preachers are not preaching the gospel of Jesus Christ. They twist it and contort it and mess it so bad that it's nowhere near what God intended it to be. So be careful. That's why I don't go to church. I would love to go to church. I can't find one that teaches the truth. Ye shall know them by their fruits. Talking about the false prophets or preachers or whatever. Do men gather grapes of thorns or figs of thistles? Even so, every good tree bringeth forth good fruit, but a corrupt tree bringeth forth evil fruit. A good tree cannot bring forth evil fruit, neither can a corrupt tree bring forth good fruit. Every tree that bringeth not forth good fruit is hewn, cut down, and cast into the fire. Wherefore, by their fruits ye shall know them. And that's an analogy also. If you're not bearing good fruits, you're going to be cast down and tossed into the eternal fire of hell. Not everyone that saith to me, Lord, Lord, shall enter into the kingdom of heaven, but he that doeth the will of my Father which is in heaven. There he's talking to the make-believe Christians. Most of the people in the world, or in America for sure, that claims to be Christian but are not bearing fruits of righteousness. They say, not everyone that saith to me, Lord, Lord, shall enter into the kingdom of heaven, but he that doeth the will of my Father which is in heaven. Many will say to me in that day, Lord, Lord, have we not prophesied in thy name, and in thy name have cast out devils, and in thy name done many wonderful works? And remember, this is Jesus speaking. Verse 23 says, and then I will profess unto them, I never knew you. Depart from me, ye workers of iniquity. Friends, those are words you never, ever want to hear from Jesus. Therefore, whosoever heareth these things of mine and doeth them, I will liken him unto a wise man which built his house upon a rock. And the rain descended, and the floods came, and the winds blew and beat upon that house, and it fell not, for it was founded upon a rock. And everyone that heareth these sayings of mine and doeth them not shall be likened unto a foolish man which built his house upon the sand. And the rain descended, and the floods came, and the winds blew and beat upon that house, and it fell, and great was the fall of it. And it came to pass, when Jesus had ended these sayings, the people were astonished at his doctrine, for he taught them as one having authority, and not as the scribes. Friends, I pray that God blesses you in the reading of the Word. That was the entire 7th chapter of the book of Matthew. It was all Jesus speaking except the last 2 verses, and that was part of the Sermon on the Mount. Y'all, in your spare time, make time to read the entire Sermon on the Mount. It is all awesome. Y'all behave. It's good talking to you. I'll talk to you again when the Lord tells me to.